Joe Baldalamar, a neurologist working for the Alzheimer's Association, was a presenter at our April 2024 Sunrise, Florida Rotary AGING GRACEFULLY Seminar. He discussed how key lifestyle habits can promote brain health and may even lower the risk of cognitive decline in dementia. He described the 10 warning signs of dementia and the prevalence of dementia. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Joe Baldalamar. He's with the Alzheimer's Association, and he's going to do the rest of the presentation.
Today we're going to do a little what we call an awareness presentation to understand a little bit about different aspects of Alzheimer's disease. I'm a neurologist by trade, and I am one of 3 research champions in the state of Florida, and also the programs director for Southeast Florida. So this is what we'll cover today, our facts and figures that this report just recently came out. Alzheimer's and dementia, the risk reduction, and of course, resources and support. So when we talk about facts and numbers, just take a look. This is within the United States. Interesting facts. Number 1 is 1 in 5 females will develop Alzheimer's, while 1 in 10 men. Do you know the reason why? Stress. What else? Well, only one reason is because of age. Ladies tend to live longer than men. That's it. And then if you look at the one in the middle, about 70% of dementia caregivers will actually feel stress with coordinated care. As a matter of fact, about 27% of caregivers will develop some sort of chronic health issue, and they will also develop, guess what? Depression. This is just general, so bring it a little bit closer to home. Florida has the second highest numbers of seniors living with Alzheimer's disease. 66% chronic conditions, 28.6% with depression. And the interesting thing that when you're looking at these facts and figures is that 840,000 Floridians provide $1.3 billion of unpaid care. Hopefully down the road, that's something that we will be able to change. And then, we want to bring it a little bit closer. 205,000 plus people in the Southeast Florida chapter. That's from Vero Beach all the way down to Key West. Just think about that. And then, of course, in Broward County, we have 47,800 people. State of Florida has 5 in the top 25. Number 1 in the nation is Miami-Dade County. This is so important for us so people understand how Alzheimer's is actually in our communities, in everyday life. And then, when we talk about Alzheimer's disease and dementia, people tend to interlace the terms. They think that dementia is the same as Alzheimer's, and it's not. When we talk about dementia, dementia is an umbrella that is used to describe different symptoms. Alzheimer's disease is a very specific disease. You have the Alzheimer's, the most common type of dementia. 60 to 80% of the diagnostics is because of Alzheimer's. Then you have vascular dementia, Lewy body disease, frontotemporal, and mixed dementia. That's when somebody has, let's say, Parkinson's disease and they develop other type of dementia. It's called mixed dementia. As you can see, dementia is a syndrome, biological changes, problems with cognition, but these are general problems. In order to talk about Alzheimer's, the most common type of dementia is irreversible. Until this day, there is no cure. The current treatments on the market, which are the 2 newest infusion therapies, only slow down the process of the disease if you are in a very early stage, transitioning from mild cognitive impairment into the actual first stages of Alzheimer's disease. The risk of developing Alzheimer's disease, of course, increases with age. That's the number 1 factor. This is what Alzheimer's disease is. Very specific. The only way to actually be able to diagnose Alzheimer's disease is either through a PET scan or a spinal fluid test. The reason why is because that's the only way that you're going to see the plaques, which is the beta amyloid, and the tangle, which is the hyperphosphorylated tau. So based on the different factors, the way that the person responds, their behaviors and those types of things, that's how they're going to be able to diagnose. Sometimes the doctors, the neurologists, is not a person that is actually trained to find out, aspects of dementia. They might just tell the person, has dementia, but is not really giving the actual reason for the dementia. And as you can see And the left side is the healthy brain. On the other side is the brain with Alzheimer's disease. How much do you think a healthy brain weighs when we reach 18 years old?
3 pounds.
3 pounds. That's correct. When somebody develops Alzheimer's disease in the very late stages, it can weigh up to half a pound. So imagine the destruction of everything in the brain. That's why sometimes when persons are in the very late stages of the disease, they even forget how to swallow and chew, and most of the times they have to be intubated. Some people, the brain might doesn't recognize that they have legs to walk, so they stop walking. And that's how the disease progresses. So the risk factors, with Alzheimer's disease, as I mentioned, is increased age, which is the greatest risk factor. Then you have genetics, then the risk genes, and lastly, other risk factors. So we pretty much kind of like break down those. There is something that is called non-modifiable factors, right? Those are things that we cannot change, which is our age, our genetics, our ethnicity, and biological, how we were born, male or female. That's what we cannot change. Then there is a whole bunch of array of different things that we can actually change with our modifiable factors. And that has to do with substance abuse, trying to avoid that, trying to avoid traumatic brain injuries, staying physically active, very important. Our vascular health, sleep, very important. As we get older, we need sleep. Don't believe when they say, I just need 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep. Down the road, you're going to start noticing changes in your cognition. So it's very important. Diet and nutrition, cognitive and social engagement. And all this information that you see here is what we call the overall risk factors, and this is based on research. There is something that is called the US Pointer. It's a research that actually look at all these different aspects and the importance of these aspects. We should have the report ready by the second quarter of next year. So all these are overall risk factors, and I say, it's a constellation of different reasons. The social determinants we have seen that will impact some of all these factors. Also, reducing the risk of dementia is positive everyday actions that you can take. Managing diabetes, very important. Reason why? Sugars that start developing in your pancreas. When you start pushing all those sugars out and there is no control, it will affect your vascular system. If it affects your vascular system, guess what is going to happen? Every time that we're breathing, 25% of that oxygen, that oxygenated blood goes to your brain. The moment the brain starts stopping receiving that information, it can cause a stroke, a transient ischemic attack, and at that particular point, there's like a little tiny hole that is created in your brain. Tau and amyloid, which are the hallmarks of Alzheimer's, that's what happened. The amyloid attaches to the brain cell and destroys it, while the tau is like a spider web that interrupts communications between the cells. We have a saying that everything that is good for the heart is good for your brain. So it's important to keep that in mind. We all have also something that is called the mind diet, which was done through a study. It's pretty much a combination of the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet. Low on salt, high on veggies. It recommends that you drink red wine, either Cabernet or Merlot, and it's about 4 ounces, not a whole bottle. just so you keep that in mind. Also, stuff that you can do for your memory, like all these different things. One of the games that has been proven that actually helps a lot with memory is chess and bridge. Train your brain, that's very important. Learn a new language, read books that will challenge you and things like that. So that's very important to keep in mind as far as the activities to improve memory. Then make sure that you understand the 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's disease. Not everybody's going to go through sign 1 to 10. Some people might experience 2, some people might experience a couple, and we have that information over there too. This is just general information. We have this interesting program, it's completely free. It's called the All Stars. Whenever you don't feel bored and you want to learn something new, do this. You will get a certificate and also a little pin that says that you have become an all-star. And then the resources and support, as I mentioned, all this information we have, our toll-free number. is open 24/7. We can answer the phone in 210 different languages, okay? And you will be speaking to a master level clinician, so they can better explain it. It's not necessarily only about dementia, Alzheimer's, you can talk about other stuff, Parkinson's disease, and any kind of thing that you have in mind. Our helpline, we have free educational courses. The ARP resource finder is really good. That's something that you can type the name of what you're looking for. You're looking for a neurologist, you're looking for a daycare center, you're looking for a support group. It will give you information. This I also have on the table. This is through a partnership that we have with the Department of Elderly Affairs. If you know someone that wants to get a free memory screening, you can call the closest places to you. Is absolutely free, no insurance needed. And that's only to understand cognitively where you are and if you need more. Lastly, you can join us as a team, family members, to do different stuff. And this is what we do in general across the state with the funds that we receive, because our aim is to find a cure and also to keep providing hope to family and people that are actually experiencing the disease. We always say you're never alone. We're here to help. And as I mentioned, this is our vision on Alzheimer's, a world without Alzheimer's disease and all other dementias. So if you have any questions, by all means, come visit us. Yes?
How is this Alzheimer's Association helping caregivers?
If you're a caregiver, we can provide free educational programming, free support groups, for you to convey with others. We have something that is called ALC Connected. You can join different communities, post questions, get answers. And what we foresee for the future is we're trying to go to our local congress and then to see if we can actually be able to provide some sort of stipend for caregivers. Right now, the only place that does that is the VA. If you're taking care of a caregiver, if you're a caregiver of a veteran, you get that stipend. So, those are what we foresee in the future. All the services that we offer are free. We don't ask for insurance or anything like that. And then some of the companies that will work with us, they will review case by case, and sometimes they will do pro bono stuff, like somebody need respite care and stuff like that. There might be places that will provide that pro bono. Yes, ma'am.
And I heard not many people die from Alzheimer's. They usually die from something else.
Correct. You're absolutely right. So,
my question is that my husband is really losing big time.
okay.
Can I invite him into your, can you tell me if I'm the crazy one or he's the crazy?
So that's what I mentioned. You can probably go and have the screening for the cognition test. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour. And they can pretty much tell you if cognitively he's still functioning or not. And there might be some other underlying conditions.
Is it inheritable? Is it in the DNA?
So yes, it's in the DNA. There is something that is called the AEP04 gene.
The what?
AEP04 gene. That gene is called the Alzheimer's gene, but that if someone has it, doesn't necessarily mean that they will develop Alzheimer's disease. You might see 3, 4, 5 different generations. Everybody in the family has Alzheimer's disease, and then for the next 3, 6, 7 generations, no one developed. It just only increases the chances. That's it. And it's not transmissible. There have been some medications that have been linked to Alzheimer's disease or developing dementia,
Yes.
but that's something that you have to actually particularly have with the doctor, so they can do a consultation about your medications and then to do a reassessment, whether it needs to change or not. Well, thank you so much, and if you have any questions, please call us in our page.
I just want to add one thing, is that there's a lot of medical conditions that will mask themselves as dementia or cause short-term dementia. So it's very important that you go and get a full physical makeup because it could be that whatever is happening is curable. Dementia itself is not curable, but it could be that some other condition that's causing short-term condition is totally curable. It's important to go to the doctor and get a full neurological and general checkup.